like one character, or are we talking between any character?
Yeah, because like you could, it doesn't have to be. If it's favorite fight scene, it could be like Whitebeard versus Akainu. You know.
There we go.
Hello guys, we are now live. Sorry, I've just realised I didn't unmute.
Yeah. Good job, Sam. Great
Prof-
start of this week's show.
Professional streamer right here, you know what I mean? Right guys, hello everyone. Just give a quick introduction out. I'm Goku76, also known as Sam. To my right, we have Anis, who's just flashed up there a second ago on screen. And below us, we've got Tass there, also here to come join.
Also known as just Tass.
Oh, hello, Werrow. Thank you very much for the follow, pal, as well. Excellent. Straight in there. So yeah, we are here talking about every Sunday about One Piece, doing podcasts. So today we are going to go over different arcs. We're going to go over different villains, discuss our own opinion, and just tear them out, see which one we think is the best, which one we think is the worst.
We're not going to do all of them in one show because
it's just
think long.
I mean, we've only got up to 22 here, which is just before the time skip, let alone. So it's not going to be all in one, because I can imagine some of these are going to be lengthy discussions. Spoiler alert, like Alabasta.
Try to limit it to one per show so we don't oversaturate it.
Absolutely. And get through them and just chat all the way through it. So, without further ado, who wants to start with the tier list then?
Well, we're gonna start it arc by arc, aren't we?
Yeah. So who wants to start?
If we're going to talk about the first arc, first of all, we should probably explain our ranking system that we've got for it. How we're going to rank the arcs.
Yeah, absolutely. So on screen now, as I've just brought up for you, you've got all the arcs up to time skip, and we've just definited them as different characters that you can see, and we've ranked them. So we've got the top tier. We're going to have his Pirate King. Just below that, Yonko and Admiral, Shibukai, Marines, and then civilians, because civilians don't do much in the series other than just ask for pirates for help. Exactly. We were going to say, put one of the characters' names in there, but I think that's kind of giving a little bit of a spoiler ahead of time in there. We have that.
I think what we're going to do is, as we go through the arcs and as we discuss them, we're going to rank them as we go. Is that right?
Yeah, rank them as we go, and basically have a little bit of a debate with chat and each other. So if someone thinks that should be Pirate King, someone should be Yonko, figure out have a vote between it and kind of defend each other's case.
Throw us anything you want to say, and we'll discuss accordingly. If it's live, we'll discuss it then, and if it's not live, if you message us after we've gone off live,
absolutely, we
can discuss it on the next show.
Absolutely, we can go over it on the Twitter as well. We have got a Twitter link set up now, in the Discord, in the chat now podcast piece on Twitter. So, going through then, first arc. Who wants to start with Velveeta?
Right.
We have to.
He's a little interested. I done a quiz the other day online, and it was about the One Piece anime. And one of the questions, it said, who was the first Straw Hat member to appear in the anime?
Straw Hat member, you mean?
Yeah. They don't have to be as a member of the crew, but, because obviously when you meet them, they're not a member, but they do join.
Is this a trick question? Because I think they're going to talk about the intro.
No, it's not the intro.
No.
Intro in the actual.
Because Kobe, I believe, would be the first person you meet.
Not a member.
No, because obviously you have it'd be Nami, because you meet Nami. Nami's the first person you actually physically see, who just jumps ship and leaves everything to Luffy.
Of course, yes.
Aye. I thought you were trying to go with a trick question, thinking, we're talking about the actual full episode, and then it's the intro, and you just get caught off guard. But
no, you don't get to see Luffy till about halfway through the episode when he jumps out of the barrel.
Yeah.
As his introduction, I've just had a great nap. Bang, there's two people out.
Exactly. And that's just a
as far
start.
as character introductions go,
Yeah,
wasn't bad, was it?
No, not at all.
Very much introduced as, kind of like All Might. I am here.
Yeah. Similar, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's. Sorry, I just had to get that question out because I wanted to ask you last week, but I forgot, and I remembered this week.
No worries. Well, it's
I thought with us talking about the first arc this week, it'd be an ideal time to ask.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
That's a good one, actually.
Yeah.
But yes, going back to Alvida,
Mhm.
I mean, as far as Pirate's concerned, she's nothing special, is she? But that's the thing. It's the start of the anime. She's just there as the
First one to be beat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has to be the bad guy. I suppose it'll be this person.
Mm-hmm. And it just shows like the difference.
I mean, when
Yeah.
when you first see her, she, like, you do think like that is,
Excuse me.
she's intimidating. Like the like big club. You don't know
Mhm.
you don't know anything really about the series yet.
Yeah, exactly.
And she does have some power behind those swings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. We don't know much about Luffy at this point,
Hi, Kit.
so all we get to see
Mm-hmm.
isn't she good?
Oh, brilliant. You don't get to see. You know what I actually found out was funny? Is wouldn't it have been funny like if Luffy discovered Gear Second from that point? Because he does get hit on the head, and he has like the kind of like stance where he has like the Gear Second. Do you know when he goes down?
Yeah.
That would have been funny if he just went to Gear Second straight away and went, okay, now bump, couldn't control his power and end up in the sea.
250 episodes.
It would have been funny if he tried running and just end in the sea, and that's the end of the episode, and that's the end of the series. Okay, he's drowned.
Yeah, that's
But-
game over.
Aye. So,
But yeah, I think as Anis was saying, is she is just that, the first villain.
she's there just to
Nothing
kind of.
special.
Aye,
But
even,
it's one of them. You don't know nothing about Luffy. You know nothing about
Mm-hmm.
his powers. You have zero idea about his capability. Then you reduce this person. You say, "Oh, look at her. She's big. She's got a club. Everybody's scared of her. She's known. She's got a bounty."
mm-hmm. And she
Yeah,
has that
oh,
intimidating
right,
factor. And it's,
Yeah.
it's like later on, like it's that kind of theory where you have people who are basically weaklings, are like strong, and there's been a really good fight. Fairy Tail's a good example with Blue Note. Where just Natsu couldn't stand up to him, and then like when they meet like 2 years later, he's just like, "What are you doing, mate?" It's just that whole thing, and Alvida's supposed to be that kind of big bad terror at the time, and knowing that the East Blue is supposed to be the weakest as well, she's probably one of the strongest at that place, other than the ones we meet later on.
Yeah,
It's-
but even though saying that, he's the only one that he one-shotted in East
Mhm.
Blue.
Exactly. So I think personally, I would put Alvida down here in the civilian.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
I don't.
maybe.
I don't know if I'd put a civilian.
Mm-hmm.
I'd maybe put her into Marine, but
Marine.
Yeah, I'd say she is a pirate captain. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if a civilian, she took over a ship full of civilians,
Yeah,
so
that's it.
I think she's a little bit above civilian.
Mm-hmm. So putting her down as a Marine. You know what I would actually love to see as a comeback is Alvida come back, but against Kobe. And that would be interesting as a fight,
yeah, that'd be cool to see. Yeah,
That-
because
just because of the history and the terror.
growth and progression, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because
But-
he's basically got the powers of CP9, hasn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. And he's obviously trained under Garp, which is obviously what's happened.
So we can therefore assume he's going to have Haki as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To anyone who has joined as well, just to let you know, 1-0, we're not talking about 1-0, we're going to keep away from that area. This tier list is only up until time skip, and then we'll do a revised list later on after 1-0, potentially looking at those acts as well. Or it might be even continuing, depending how long it's going to take to get through that as well.
Yeah.
So, Marine, kind of agree, it was between Marine and Civilian for me, because looking at it, it's like, the thing is, civilians are probably scared of a running leaf if you say it's a killer. You know what I mean? In the One Piece universe, you said that leaf's got a bounty. It's a leafy fruit. People will just be like, "Oh God, run away from it straight away." They won't even attempt anything. But like I said, yeah, she did have some power in there. So yeah, not a good villain to start with, but they do completely
No, I think
progress
I
forward.
disagree with that. I think it was a good villain to start with,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think she's a good. Like, if you'd have met her, say, after Kuro or Buggy,
then
you'd be like,
who's this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. It's like kind of easing your way into it.
You always have that one that's easy, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Always got to have that easy one in there. Next one then, there was two others and I can't remember. Captain Morgan Spice over here.
Yeah.
I'm going to put these.
Morgan, yeah.
And then we got Higuma.
Which you've touched
Higuma.
on straight away. We have to bring up the fact that they've named him Captain Morgan, which is
This is what we were talking about that, weren't we? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which is the name rum, which is a pirate's favourite drink.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's depicted by a pirate on the bottle. It's
just
the
irony in it.
And it's even better that he turns out to be a bad marine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Not a pirate as much as prick.
He's just a bad marine.
I can't think of a more poetic way to put it than that.
Yeah. He's just a bad marine that doesn't obey the rules quite as much as he should.
It's like define irony, Captain Morgan. There you go. So, Captain Morgan then. First thing I've got to say is, I said this to you guys already, but my favourite part of that entire arc of Captain Morgan is Zoro's the only time you'll ever see Zoro tell someone like they're going the wrong way. To Luffy. The only time Zoro's ever had the right sense of direction. And I fully think there's my joke about this is Luffy's just made him a lot more dumber from no sense of direction, because he's too worried about dealing with Luffy's shit, running off and doing all this, and then he's then can't figure out where he's going, which is
actually thinking about it though, could it also be the fact that obviously when Luffy rescues him, how long had he been at the tied up?
Probably a few days.
Supposed to be serving a month.
Yeah, wasn't it supposed to be something like a month, and he was already 3 weeks and...
Yeah, he was on 20. I think he was on 22, 23 days.
And they said it was going to be extended indefinitely, or
No, Hel Meppo was in the bar. He was in the restaurant talking with his friends or the Marines that were cowering around him. And he said, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to execute Zoro tomorrow. I'm not bothered anymore." And then Luffy got his ass up and.
Yeah, but it's kind of that whole thing. Maybe that's what Zoro needs to get his sense of direction. He needs to be weakened for a month.
Yeah.
And then,
I mean,
it's no food for a month, and I'll find. You know what though, right? This is something that somebody said, and it made me chuckle. They went, "Zoro's that shit that if you just let him navigate, they'd reach Raftel in a month."
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't know where he wouldn't. He'd just go the wrong way. And it'd be right.
I still love the that meme where it's like Luffy's in Roger's place on the pedestal just getting executed, and he says, "You want my treasure?" Zoro's the only one who knows where to find it, and it just says, "Oh God!" It's just everyone's face just gone. It's like all of the anime and the manga faces of them just pure shock and pure horror going straight off the bat, and you're just it's just pure amazing for that.
It's an interesting idea of maybe that's what needs to happen, because he loses his strength but gains brain power.
Yeah.
And then God.
So what we're saying is, if we don't let actually, another good point, how much does Zoro actually drink? Do you think he's just drunk and can't find his way? Because you always see him with a big large drink as well.
Yeah, but that's only when he drinks. You see him on the ship, he's just asleep.
Yeah. But when he runs off the island and he comes to do it, then he gets lost, and you're like, hold on a second. He knew his way then when he was tied up and didn't have any food or alcohol. Now he's off running off somewhere.
Yeah.
There is.
Got drunk. I'm going on an adventure.
Exactly, he's turning the host. But yeah.
Bilbo.
He's the Bilbo of the One Piece universe.
But interesting thing again as well, though, obviously with Alvida, obviously we do learn about Luffy's power, but no baddies in the first sort of arc appear to have any sort of power, like Devil Fruit or non-Devil Fruit.
I mean, yeah, obviously you got Buggy.
I'm gonna call you Buggy.
Well, yes.
Technically, yeah, but he's later on in the arc, the first 3 villains that you really
first
see.
three bosses don't. Yeah, the first three don't. They're basically built around weapons if you think about it, because it was Iron Mace Alvida that she was called. That was her name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then Axe Hand Morgan.
Yep. And then you had the band. Higuma.
Higuma was the bandit who when Luffy was a kid.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
The one who
does he have a nickname?
He was
the Mountain Bandit. He had a bounty, 3 million bounty, didn't he?
I still love the fact that he like slammed that on the table in front of Shanks, and Shanks just laughed. And he's like,
yeah.
You just started laughing. He's like, get a load of this guy, 3 million. I'm sure, I'm a Yonko. Well, I don't think he was at that stage, but straight away.
He wasn't then, no.
If he was, I can definitely imagine it wouldn't be the case.
I've definitely got something I want to ask about that, but we'll just go back to Captain Morgan.
Yep.
And we'll put him in his place.
Yeah. I think, again, Marine for him, because I don't think he's weak.
Agreed.
But to be honest, this is where my debate was coming through with Alvida, because I think who would you think could match out with these two? Who do you think would come out on top?
Oof.
I think that'd be an interesting ask.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would be more inclined to say Morgan, just on the grounds of he didn't get one hit.
Yeah, I would say this.
When he went to whack Luffy with the axe and Luffy dodged, he split the ground.
Yeah, he's physically fit. Obviously physically fit as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Because that was my debate of putting Alvida in because civilian. Because to me, Alvida, yeah, brilliant, she's awesome. But when we look at the next person, come on, there's a big comparison in strength there.
Well, that's the thing. We can revisit. We can have like Alvida Mark II later on. So
that is true. We can have a look at it.
We could technically, in our ranking system, doesn't mean that she is a civilian. It just means that's our ranking system, and she's in the bottom tier of it.
Exactly. But it's good to see, like I said, I'm actually interested in seeing a few of these. If you said to him, who would you think would win a fight between these two? Who is going to be the top dog in the East Blue section? Barring Luffy's crew. We putting some predict.
I could probably.
Well, it would be Arlong.
Yeah.
Granted, he's not from there, but
yeah, I think Arlong versus Kuro would be interesting because Kuro is obviously he's got some techniques and he's quite refined as a technique, shall we say?
I honestly think it'd be Droll because his technique, Kuro, what I perceive it as, is he doesn't really have control over it.
Yeah.
He just belts about and just does damage.
But would Arlong have a counter to it though? That's what I'm thinking.
Shark, water dart, Yabusame.
True, that is a good point.
Throw them all in front of you. It's going to hit, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if one of them hits him, he's done.
Pretty much, yeah. And to be fair, it doesn't have to be a land fight at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, and even if it was, we know Arlong can tank.
He is a beast. Going on to the next one then, Higuma. Where would you want to place him?
Civvy.
Civvy, yeah.
I'd put him as Civvy.
He's not even good.
I mean, this is the debate though. He was against Shanks' crew. If he was against Luffy's crew, do you think there'd be a different scenario? I think it'd still be like a fight, but I don't think it'd be as one-sided. Like if
just say,
like let's say we got the crew at before we met Kuro. Like we got Yasop, we got Usopp. Sorry, we got Nami, Zoro, and Luffy. Just the four of them.
Absolutely.
Higuma would
absolutely crush him.
Yeah.
Like Zoro was taking care of full groups of enemies by himself from day one, and he took care of a full team of Marines at Morgan's Island.
Exactly.
Which I can't remember, what was that place called? Was it called Fuchsia Village?
Not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure on the village, but yeah.
Shelltown, that's what it was. Shelltown.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, if anyone in chat can do some Googling and let us know, that would be...
That'd be appreciated.
I'm trying to remember it through my head. I'm pretty sure it was Shelltown it was called.
Yeah, because the only reason I'm saying that is because Shanks, we know Shanks being quite powerful. And I think out of the three of these, this is Arc 1 here, I think Higuma is probably the best one out of the three of them. Just because you see... So? I mean, not in terms of the villain, but in terms of the arc and the backstory and what we get out of it.
Of course, in terms of the arc, yeah.
I mean...
If you asked me your question, what you said before, who would win the fight?
Oh, who would win the fight? I wouldn't say that. I'm just saying in terms of...
Any of them.
In terms of like the arc. I mean, if we're going to go by the arc, who would win the fight, I'm going to go for the Sea King. Sea King's going to win all the way through. Or you can take an arm off Shanks.
You proper fucking viewers, you can call out on everything.
But
but Roger was in the first part at the start, so I think he'd win everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been beat. No, to be fair, like I said, out of those three, and like obviously the Sea King, who's also had like kind of a little scrap with Luffy and Shanks, I'm definitely saying the Sea King. But all honesty, out of all three of them, I'd still have to go with Captain Morgan. Captain Morgan just seems... So he's got the military training straight away. He's a captain.
He would be the strongest archer, personally, aye.
He's a captain. I mean, like you said, when Alvida hit Luffy on the head, didn't damage the ship. Didn't take, like, obviously, he probably absorbed a lot of the damage, but it's still got to go somewhere. And then when Captain Morgan hits the floor, yes, it's a blade, but
and that's just, the ship's just wood.
Exactly. There's a lot more durability. And then Higan, well, he's down there for a reason. You know what I mean? He gets beat up by a blunt end of a gun.
Well, he doesn't even get beat up.
No, all of his crew do.
Like, Ben Bachman beats his crew, and then he's just like, oh, I'm sorry, he's just a kid.
And then he just gets on a rowboat straight away, and then just gone straight away.
See you later.
Yeah, go now, bye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm scared now. People are hard.
Well, yeah, it is straight away just easy enough to say Morgan out of the three of them would win. We're coming into the next one then. Buggy. Where would you rank? We're looking at. Should we do the time skip version? Or should we do up to time skip version?
No,
Buggy?
No. If we're doing it in order, like where we are now, I think we should go with as and when you meet them, where they are.
Where when you meet them.
Because
it's a very interesting one because, like, his power gives him a lot of like durability. Like, somebody slashes him with a sword, he just splits himself where the sword is.
Well, he beat Zoro.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
I think I'd probably put him up at Admiral,
I'd probably say Shibukai more than Admiral, because compared to, yes, he has that power of kind of being able to cover sword damage. He still takes some damage from physical beatings, and he does have a very obvious weakness that gets shown. I still think he's over Morgan, and I mean, if you put him against all three of them, he'd probably win. Just buggy ball them. And,
I think he would beat them all. And what's interesting though is probably Alvida would probably stand the best chance against him.
Yeah.
Because of her weapon purely.
Exactly.
But even so,
and to be fair, like I said, the backhand of Morgan's axe, he still has the strength behind it.
Yeah. And
the punch as well. But I would say, because I think, realistically speaking, out of these three and Buggy's not as weak, let's be honest, but he's not as strong, but he does have a good intellect. And I think his invention of the buggy balls, other inventions he's made and other kind of tools that he's used, I think that kind of gives him an edge over anyone we've got so far.
Plus, obviously, he was a part of Roger's crew.
Spoilers.
True.
But yeah. And even that, being on Roger's crew, obviously we find out that at Marineford, and that just tips the boat on everyone wanting him there. I mean, he should be in his rightful role, in my opinion, of this. But what do you think?
Buggy for Pirate King.
Interesting fact, since we're talking about him generally, I've left him at Shibukai, but we might change him in a bit. But do you think now that he's in the new world, do you think he's learned anything about hacking? He'll learn how to be a bit stronger. Obviously not on Luffy's level, but he does have like a...
Honestly, I don't think he's got any better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's just...
I think Buggy's going to be that all the way through. He's just going to be that character, and he's just going to be there as that little bit of comic relief.
Yeah, I think so.
Because
just be like, yeah, I'm here. Like,
I do.
I just want to throw an example, like at Impel Down, when Luffy bumps into Buggy again there, and like the fight in the Blue Gory.
He's just like takes out one.
He's fighting this one, and he slams it down, and it gets back up, and he's like, "Aha, beat him!" Like, look at that, and he turns around.
And Luffy's killing.
And then something like,
yeah,
and he's like,
sugar.
Yeah,
yeah. I've got no better.
I think though, like he does have like kind of like the power to get strong people around him. So I think like he won't be the problem. His crew would be the problem.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what Whitebeard said as well. Putting the Red Nose aside, the rest of the guys could be a problem.
Exactly. And I think that's like, Buggy's power.
I think with him though, he has people around him for a different reason than Luffy.
Like everyone admires him.
Yeah.
Everyone follows Luffy as a leader, whereas everyone
on his
just
own merit.
Exactly.
Like, granted, nothing to say about Buggy is false.
It's just like
bullshit.
I think Buggy's got like the power, like a different power of right place at the right time. Let's be honest.
That's precisely what it is. It was only because he happened to be a swabby on Roger's crew that Whitebeard recognised him.
Exactly.
And Whitebeard knew exactly what to say to trigger him.
Yeah.
That's why he said Red Nose to him, and he said, "Oh, you're calling a Red Nose, you crap."
Look at this Buggy standing up to Whitebeard. Oh my god, we shall follow you forever.
I should have worn the brown pants.
But I think Buggy is probably one of my favourite. To be honest with you, just from the comic relief and like the story, I'd give him a bit more power than that, to be honest with you personally. But as he is, as where we know him now in the series, I'd say Shibukai is probably the right place to pop him. At this moment in time,
we can, like I say, as we go through the arcs, when you re-meet people, we can reassign them as like Mark II.
Exactly.
Example, you know what I mean? Like
exactly, and we can do a reverse one. Now, there's one thing I haven't put in here, and I've just realised, but I don't think we should anyway. But Hawkeye, he's not on this list. But do you want to discuss him later on as well? Because technically, he is a villain that you fight. You see Zoro fight.
Yeah.
Or do you want to? Yeah, we'll call him out before Don Krieg then.
I think I don't know, because are we going, because he's not the major villain of the arc, is he really? He's not.
No, but it is when we're talking about the arc as well. He is quite an importance of that arc, and I think that is just kind of showing the scope. And to be honest with you, with Zoro, that is like kind of like one of the things that brings Zoro's character and fleshes out Zoro as a role.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So you know, it's like I said, yes, we're going against most of Luffy's things, but there are other characters in there that the others fight.
Yeah.
Plus, when we get to Alabasta, I'm pretty sure we want to talk about a couple of them, not just Crocodile in that entire thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it's fair to show some respect that way. Kuro, then, what are we thinking about Kuro?
It was a very interesting character to bring in. Like, same thing again. Like after being introduced, like Buggy, like, so you learn, like, so it's like, oh, so people have these powers, and then Kuro comes in, like, once he's actually been revealed, and it's just sort of like, oh, so is he a Devil Fruit user with what he can do, or is he just good at what he does?
It is one of those.
Turns out to be really damn smart.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, you can't take away from him that he's not strong as well.
No, I think, like I said, out of the four that we've already put in, I would say, other than Buggy's power, he would be able to beat all four of them, 4v1.
He couldn't beat Buggy though, I don't think.
Without his power, though, like if it wasn't for his Devil Fruit being a counter.
But he has his power.
Yeah. Well, that's
like saying without Luffy's power, would he beat Alvida?
Yeah. Quick A quick question on Buggy as well, because we're going to mention Hawkeye anyway. Do you think Hawkeye can do anything to Buggy?
Punch him in the mouth.
No, I mean with the sword, because does
No.
Haki even work on Buggy?
No, because they say, well, no, because we know. I don't know if I can say this without. Is it a spoiler or not? We know Hawkeye's blade, how it works.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, we can talk about, because that's pre-Wano. Like, we find out obviously from Dom
Black for a
Flamingo.
reason.
Yeah, this is Dom Flamingo's arc, isn't it? We find out about obviously Zoro learns how to use Haki from Mihawk.
Yeah, but you don't really learn more about the blades till later, so we can't really talk about it. But
we'll revisit that because it's an interesting point. Because, like I said, Buggy has some strengths.
Classic example of no, he can't hurt him with his sword.
Mm-hmm. Because it is one of those where he goes, what the hell? But go back to Captain Kuro then. I would probably rate him more than Buggy personally, slightly more. Like when we're looking at the grand screen.
Smarts.
Yeah, on his smart, on his technique.
On his smart, yeah, but then his actual fighting ability lets him down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think yeah.
If we could put him, it would be sort of he'd be below Buggy but above Alvida and Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we could do halfway placement.
Yeah.
But in regards to his standing, I would probably put him in as Marine.
You'd put him as a Marine, would you? Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly don't rate Kuro too highly.
I think it's like one of the more interesting fights, shall we say?
It's because it's different. It shows.
Yeah. It shows there's like a challenge there.
It shows Luffy's ability to assess a situation, if you will. Like it's not just I can punch you as hard as I can. He's got to follow what Kuro's doing. He's moving about, and it shows that his ability to adapt to the speed of him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then you have obviously Usopp coming in and all of his smarts and plans to help go against his pirates.
Mm-hmm. I still love that Usopp's I always love the fact that Usopp's just character is brilliant for the fact that all of his lies seemingly just kind of like turn out to be little bits of white lies, but then they turn out to be something that could be true or has come true in one way or the other. And I do like that about his character more than anything because it's just unique. I joked about and said he must have the best future sight Haki in the world if he can say that he's got a crew of 100,000 episodes, it goes into 100 episodes, a few thousand episodes later, and then you go, oh hello. You're just like, oh god.
Galaxy, I told you.
Aye, that's why he makes a good sniper. He's already shot you before you even realised. But yeah, I just love the fact that that's just one of the things that just keeps cropping up all the way through the series. Oh
yeah, no, it's a good little Easter egg. Not
aye.
as good as Panda Man.
No, Panda Man, aye.
Bloody Panda Man. After you told me about him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm gonna find some screenshots of him and show him.
Mm-hmm. Just gonna send it to us and be like, here you go, Panda Man number 1, Panda Man number 2, Panda Man number 20.
For those
Hey, Seven Moon, how you doing?
For those in the chat that don't know about Panda Man, he is a little Easter egg character that appears in and around the One Piece universe.
Intermittently, shall we say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just a gadget with a panda's head.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's like brilliant.
It's just there. Like you said it last time, Anis, the aliens in South Park.
Yes.
It's just they're there. Sometimes it's glaringly obvious. Other times it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But even now, still, when I watch it, if I see them, I'm like, "Go on, Panda Man!"
You know what? I am going to go back through Marine Ford because it'd be funny just to see if he's there. Just to say, Seven, I'm doing all right.
Oh, certainly is, you know.
I'm doing all right, Seven, by the way. Anis, Tass, how are you two doing, by the way? Seven's asked.
Awesome.
Excellent.
All good. All
Excellent.
good here.
Which
Thank you.
A little injury earlier today.
what did you do?
I I was sorting out the bathroom.
You- that
and, like the bath was like bouncing, so I had to get underneath to adjust it a bit. And then next thing I know, when I was putting it all back together, I looked at myself and was like, "Oh, that's new. Where did that come from?"
I generally expect them just to say, I was watching One Piece just a few episodes and I go, there's Panda Man! Ah!
Panda Man appeared.
Yeah.
So I know.
Full tunnel from pointing that.
Hey, Lou.
Fantastic.
But that would be brilliant.
Dear.
But we haven't really talked about much of the arcs, like where we rank these arcs in terms of power as well. So in terms of like arc 1, we'll put Alvida, Captain Morgan and Higun together. Where would you actually rate their arc? Where would you say like they are on the scale of this as well, individually?
Well,
and why?
Right. I would say, just on the merit of getting 2 crew members and meeting Shanks, obviously that moment, because it shows you that there's still so much more to come, doesn't it? Like the way Shanks is with that Sea King.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like, oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Like there's more to this guy. There's more to this. There must be more powers and stuff. So I would say Shichibukai.
Shichibukai. Yeah. I mean, from the first 3, and you said 3 crew members. You mean obviously we don't really technically have Nami in there, but we do see her.
Well, yeah. Sorry, yeah, you're right.
Like you said, we get like Zoro and Luffy confirmed, and you know it is one of those things where I think I would put it probably a bit lower on Marine because yes, you get the awesomeness, and I think that's Shanks puts it, but like you said, these people are nothing really special compared to Luffy and Zoro. Like I said, he takes out the full Marine base with Zoro and Luffy. That just shows the difference in the power between the 2 of them, and it is a lot of difference between them. But when you go into like things like Kuro and Buggy, you see some physical damage being done to them. You know what I mean? You see not that they're strong, because they're still not as strong, but you do see them getting injured, and you do see them not struggle but take a beating as much as they can give.
Yeah.
And I'd grade them.
Yeah, I think actually Luffy took more damage off Kuro than he did off Buggy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aye.
It's also, as I say, with the introduction of like Buggy and Kuro, it's that like the first 3 are just like you look at them and go, okay, these are just regular pirates. They're just strong, or they have something going on with them. Whereas when Buggy and Kuro come into the picture, it's like, oh, this is interesting. They have abilities. They have things that they can do. That is
they're not just yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it just shows the difference between them.
So where would you rank it then, Anis?
I'd probably agree with Sam. I'd probably put them as Marine. They're not. Like thinking about it from when you first watch it. It's just sort of like, oh, this is a nice little interesting anime.
And when you put, I suppose as well, if you put it into context with other anime starts.
Because there's like some anime like Fairy Tail instantly just goes, yep, we are mages, we can use magic, we can do this, that, and other. And
then he just fights on the ship. Oomph.
Yeah.
Naruto, your first opening arc is obviously him, first opening episode. He's summoning like 1,000 people to beat up the crap out of one person.
Yeah, and
then the first arc.
I think as well, the thing with Naruto is you're emotionally invested from episode 1.
Yeah.
And
until you get like season 5 and fillers come, and then you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Skip.
But enough about that. Let's get back to it. So we vote civilian for the first arc.
Yeah. I would say Marine because...
Sorry, Marine, yeah.
Yeah. I'd put it as Marine, just because it's the introduction. You know that powers do exist, but you just don't know
how it works.
You've been drawn in, but there's not enough information.
And I think Higuma's like Shanks, the Sea King, seeing that giant monster, gets scared off by Shanks just looking at him, going, "I'm going like a killing intent," just from his look. That stare.
Yeah, but even that is just pre-Buggy arc though, isn't it?
Yeah. So like that's why it pumps up.
The first manga chapter is that flashback.
That's quite cool.
The Luffy meeting Shanks and stuff and getting the hat. That's the first chapter of the manga.
Yeah. Right.
But it doesn't appear to the anime till a bit later on.
Welcome back, Seven. Welcome back. We're just talking One Piece and rating the tiered system. If you haven't been here from the start, we've gone over like the first technically arc, and I'd say this is pretty much the first arc. Would you say? And this is the opening, just getting used to the universe. But this is where shit gets real.
This is first series, isn't it?
This is where the shit gets real because again, Bucky's just an amazing character generally, and his power is never watched. You've never watched One Piece, haven't you? It is worth a watch. It takes a lot of time to get, like you said, a lot of episodes to get through, but it's worth the adventure.
It's like I described it as last week. When you watch it, when you first start, you think, "Oh, there's too many episodes," and then when you've caught up, you're like, "There's not enough episodes."
Yeah. You've got to take out how many episodes there is and just enjoy it. Like,
yeah, don't look at it as a challenge. Don't look at it as a mountain to climb. Like, oh, I've got to watch all of this.
How old?
Because you're already going in with the idea of thinking, oh, there's that much to do. I don't want to.
So what were you saying, Alistair? Sorry.
I was just saying because Seven Moons just put there. I don't have time now because of the kids. I was just wondering how old are the kids because this is a good series to get into depending on their age.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the only problem is if it's subbed or dubbed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's a whole different debate, which we'll do at a later stage. Favourite dubbed and favourite subbed parts. I'll go first.
Let's not start that one.
But yeah.
I'm not doing dub. No dub, no.
No, you don't want to do the 4 kids with the lollipop.
No, I swear to God. I'll shove the lollipop somewhere on the
Oh, we broke him already. Final Fantasy. Never actually played Final Fantasy. Actually, I did play Final Fantasy 14 for a bit, but I was already playing World of Warcraft as well as the old Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I kind of couldn't play 3 MMOs at the same time. One's 7, one's 4 years old.
Sorry, guys, you're gonna have to give me 30 seconds.
Yeah, noise.
No problem. The 7-year-old, I think, might be maybe another year.
Give it another year, and then they could easily get into the first few episodes and be something that'll distract them, keep them out of them, and then it's just something they'll be like, I'm already like 2 days later. They'll be like, I stayed up all night and watched 200 episodes. Can we have more episodes? Not speaking from experience at all.
No.
But yeah.
It's
It is one of those things that it's one of those things that people look at it and go, there's a lot of episodes to get through and commitment, but when you start watching it, she's all over Sailor Moon. Well, Sailor Moon's also great.
Sorry about that.
Dub's not so much.
No, I hate dubs.
No, we're talking about Sailor Moon dub. I remember.
Oh, all right, Sailor Moon.
I'll tell you a fun story actually, about Sailor Moon dub. And like I was watching Toonami Aftermath on the internet because it had their own website when Toonami went down. And I was like, all right, okay. So we had Dragon Ball Z Marathon for 4 episodes. We had Lupin the Third. We had all of these other animes that I was looking at and watching. I was like, all right, this is brilliant. This is a good 6-hour session that I've got watched with the first episode of Sailor Moon beforehand. I put League of Legends on the other monitor, started playing it, and I was listening to the dub, and I was just like, my intelligence, when you could hear it going down, it was like the dub. It was the very, very old version, right? But I was sat there looking and listening to it going, what am I listening to? And I actually had to stop playing to look at what I was listening to just because the dub was not making any sense in English. It was like, no, don't touch that. And it's just sat there holding the cat like this. They're like, don't touch that. I'm holding the cat and all this. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I was just like, it was like magical, like girl transformation. I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to the game. But
back in the days when dub was just literally like, can we say this to make it fit the mouth movements?
Yeah, it was literally that. It was just literally. I remember just saying like one random word, and I honestly can't remember, but that's what got me to turn. It was like, oh, blah, and I was like, what did that just say? I was like, what? And it's just one of those things.
I mean, quickly going on that going on that. I've got one anime and one anime only. Samurai Pizza Cats.
The flying Samurai Pizza Cat.
Yes. It's even in the intro. Once we find the script, we'll get on with the show.
Oh, that's brilliant. Just going, because we've gone off topic with this. One just last thing to point out is favourite ever dub moment I've ever heard was from, I'm going to say and quote it. I want to see if any of you can guess it, because I always say it to a lot of different weebs, and a lot of weebs just go, is that actually true? The thing is, I don't, but I saw this clip and I've saved it in my memory forever because I can't get it out of my head. It's like, oh, it's impossible. I calculated all your moves. I calculated everything you could do, but I didn't calculate that he's a dumbass. And then there's no calculated dumbass. Yes! And they get proper high-pitched scream like he just fell to the floor. And I'm like, no, please just tell me that's actually really, someone's done that on purpose as a fake dub, like an abridged. No, it's...
Is it Yu-Gi-Oh?
It is Yu-Gi-Oh! GX as well. But I just can never get over listening to that line, and it's going to be stuck in my head every time. So if anyone says dub or sub fight, I will bring that up and say, this is what dubs come to.
Oh, dude. Just bring Naruto up.
Believe it.
Yeah.
Right, back. What were we up to?
Start
talking about.
We pretty much finished the first. We finished
the first arc 1.
Character placement. We finished arc 1.
Yeah, and we were talking about like where we'd rate in arc 1 between the first 3 bosses. We said they would be at Marines. Buggy, I would say the same. In his arc, it'd be Marine because it's nothing special, but it does bring into. Yes, it brings in a new power. It brings in a little bit of emphasis.
Agreed.
Yeah.
When you look at the arcs still to come, and you watch, and you put it in retrospect, and you look at it, I mean, it's good, but it's kind of one that I wouldn't be too excited to revisit.
No, like I said, it's one of those things that when you look at let's say like the first opening crew, the core crew, right? I think like what we're coming on to next to, probably my favourite parts, and I'd rank them higher, and like that just diminishes and knocks the other ones down. I'd say Kuro's arc could be at Shibukai because of the how it was built, how he's like kind of master planned everything, and
So
just
where have we ranked Buggy's arc first before we go forward?
I've ranked it at Marine, same as like we say, just because it's on par. There's nothing special in terms of backstory compared to Higan's. But it isn't a bad arc, it isn't amazing, and it just shows, obviously, this there is people out there doing certain things. Kuro, I would say, is slightly higher though, not by much.
I would put that arc in the one above, yeah.
Yeah, in Shibukai, because it's not the best, it's not amazing, but it's not terrible, I don't think.
No,
and I think that's...
And there's more development in it, like more like... Luffy's got his crew, started to get his crew together. The journey properly starts because of receiving Going Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the point. That's when they get the ship as well.
Yeah.
There's that moment when they first land on the island and Usopp's up the top, and Luffy regurgitates Shanks' speech.
Absolutely. I tell you what, someone just put a good point in the chat. Buggy did take over an island though, so that actually does show like that pirates do have power, as a Shibukai would. So I'd say he does show that he can scare people. He has the power to basically take over an island, and he does have
Kuro more, but Kuro could have done the same.
Yeah. And
just so I'm not skipping out 7.7. Yes. I have seen Fairy Tail's dub as well. It is bad. But yeah, like I said, there is worse out there. I will happily send you some clips of the worst dubs I can give you, like later, off stream, because there's lots of them. I'm not even going to
send me any.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be like, oh, Taz, so we're going to talk about this week, so we're just going to preemptively watch this, poof, and play it. It'd just be Sanji with a lollipop. You're ready to kill yourself with the Fairy Tail. Oh god.
That's my trigger.
Essentially, you know what?
I wanted to watch Fairy Tail, but it's like I tried to watch it with Kim on Funimation, but we only had the free version. We watched one episode and said, right, we're not doing that again.
Well,
just like adverts, oh my god, so many adverts.
I was going to say it's on Crunchyroll, # not sponsored. I'm just going to say that now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
season 1 isn't though.
Is it not? That's a shame. But yeah, again, I feel that pain, Seven. I feel that pain. Right then. Are we want to talk about Don, or do we want to talk about Hawkeye first? Because technically Hawkeye,
because it's before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to use this image for Hawkeye because this is an image I actually imported by accident. And I noticed when I was doing the list, which is just a picture of Luffy's fist. So, right, Hawkeye. I mean, his reputation speaks for himself. Greatest swordsman. Alone. Yeah. You know, the fact that he can use a toothpick to beat, like looking at this right now, this list of people, if you put every single one of them, barring Buggy, because I'm pretty sure there's be a way that Hawkeye would be able to beat Buggy, without a doubt.
Just hit him with a hilt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like I said, we can definitely say Hawkeye's going to go beyond these straight away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would.
And
in terms of our ranking list, I would put him Yonko. No,
I would say the same straight away, purely for the fact that his reputation's pretty much speaks for itself. I mean, his opening, he just basically cuts a ship in half, like a giant ship in half without effort, and he just says he was bored.
Whilst he's sailing on a raft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's sat there on like a door.
Who is just him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the fact is, obviously, we know who he fights. And we know who he fights on a regular basis and stopped fighting when he lost his second hand. Because he had that honour as a swordsman. And he does show morals, which is really nice, especially since he shows the same respect to Zoro. Tass is just like sat there and I thought he was talking for a second when he was just moving.
No, just processing.
Right. But yeah, like when Zoro sees the same, shows the respect to Mihawk and just like, you know, says that he doesn't want to back down to him, even though he knows he's unmatched, he's not going to stop, and he's not going to turn his back, he's not going to run away. You know, that shows the respect and that shows his determination.
Scars on a swordsman's back are a shame, he says, doesn't it? Something like that.
That's actually what we were talking about, Ferry. We were actually saying earlier about Haki can cut Bucky, and I don't think it's possible because
because armament Haki just it ups the power of the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't up his ability. Like, I don't know, like no aura seems to come out of it, does it?
And the fact that you know, as in Marineford, we already know Hawkeye can use Haki. And he also got a hit from Hawkeye in Marineford.
It's the Black Blade, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. We're not talking about Wano Fairy, so we're keeping out of that spoiler territory. So we're not going to say any more about the blade. But you know what I mean? Like, that there alone is proof that Haki can't hit Bucky in terms of blades. Other objects, obviously, Luffy punching him would still do the more damage.
Other objects.
I was going to say other objects like Evita's mace, but then I thought, well, she's not a good example at all to use as a weapon. But
we touched on this earlier, Fairy, but actually going quickly back to Alvida is quite an interesting thing because obviously Buggy does like sort of split himself up and then charge in with his parts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could imagine like a baseball cage.
Yeah.
Ding, ding.
Mm-hmm.
And if she hit him, it'd hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I still think though, like going back to like Hawkeye though, definitely Yonko, definitely respected. Even on the opening, before we know anything more later in, you know, before time skip and later on when we see him, just purely his entrance alone, it's like if you think of any other, you know, people just coming through. Oh, we have a bot in here. Let me just get rid of the bot. when you look at all other entrances and all other characters in the series, you're like, oh, what's that? You've got a badass character? Hold my mead. And he's just sat there like, boomf. Comes in.
Hold my mead.
Hold my mead. We've got to go with Pirate Fiend.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. He just sat there and he's just like, what else can you do? And then you look.
He's actually on a point where we're ranking him. Are we ranking him on power?
We're ranking him on the fight, the power.
Or how we see them as a villain.
If we're going by villain, then these would be a lot lower, let's be honest. I would say more as a power level and who we think is, put up a good
just so
fight.
I know where we're going, because
go with power in the fight as well, because you might think they weren't as good as a power villain, but they were a good fight, and that brought them up. You know what I mean? Like, kind of, you're looking at it as an overall perspective, because you could say like, well, this person wasn't that strong. But look, let's just put Buggy into perspective. He's not that strong, but he knows how to use powers. He's got like obviously other things that give him an advantage, and that kind of gives him like that a bit of an edge over everyone else. As you may not realise. Who is it? 7. But yeah, like I said, there's looking at like Hawkeye though. Oh, hi Sarah. I thought it was you. How are you doing?
Hawkeye. I could have told you that was her.
I thought it was Sarah, but yeah.
It's a handle on Final Fantasy. 7 and 9.
Alright. Caught us off guard, to be honest with you. Yeah, definitely Hawkeye. Up there straight away, power.
Yeah.
And then when you look at everyone else, you look at everyone who was there. Like, I'm pretty sure Hawkeye could have took out every single person without even blinking.
Oh, yeah.
He nearly did.
Yeah.
He nearly did, I was there. And he'd probably only use the toothpick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was that bit as well where they fired the gun at him, and all he does is that, isn't it?
Turned his blade side.
Sword and just slightly turns his blade and directs everything away.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, pure badass, pure amazing entrance. And overall, when you look at him compared to the rest, like, you've had like power levels that are low, civilian level, and then you've had Luffy's crew, which seems overpowered, and then they've been put in perspective of where they are. They've down here now, you know what I mean? These are down here.
Yeah.
It's just a massive difference, an absolutely massive difference, and it just catches you off guard. And it just shows what the build up and the climb's going to be for it. So yeah,
it shows a massive difference between them, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It shows how much of a gap they have to close.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Because there's not one point in the fight between Zoro and Mihawk where you think Zoro's got a chance here.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And even Luffy.
Like, as soon as Mihawk pulls that thing off and goes, "Sorry, I don't have anything smaller."
Ooh, there's an interesting question.
Zoro goes,
oh, Tass, let's go with you on this one. Fairy said, is he stronger than Shanks at this point, do you think? Now, I think they're on par. Yeah, Mihawk and Shanks. I think they're on par.
No, I think not.
Well, we do see that Hawkeye does go to see him. And he goes and says that he used to fight Shanks at any opportunity he did when he had 2 hands.
Yeah,
we know
but
that.
The thing is, he fought Shanks in a duel with a sword.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Shanks fighting as Shanks. He was fighting him in a sword fight.
Mm-hmm.
And he was on par with Mihawk in a sword fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think
So
generally, yeah.
If it wasn't a swordsman's duel and Shanks was using more of his ability, I think that'd be the difference maker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah.
I agree with that.
Like I said, it's just like I said, it's one of those things that I think they'll just be the rivals where they just keep going, like Guy and Kakashi. They're always out to outbest each other, and then when, like, let's just say, like, Shanks lost his arm, Hawkeye lost interest. Because he doesn't like, he has that honor guard. He has that honor where he says, like, I want to be able to fight you at my best, at your best.
Fair, but he always wants a fair fight, doesn't
Exactly. And, like, that's why he showed in that fight. This is probably, if we're going to go ranking arcs, I'd say this is in the Encore level as well, just because of... Oh, bye, Tass. We lost the Tass.
Oh no.
Oh.
There he goes.
Just little spinning dots for me at the moment. But in terms of, like, arc... Oh. Hey.
Apologies for the technical difficulties.
Hey, Hannes, you want a drink? And I meant he's fixed it already.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys.
No worries, welcome back. I think if we're going by arc alone as well, I think this would be in the Encore level because it just shows where the journey's got to take them and what power they've got to go.
Yeah, and another thing as well, that... Are we on about Barity still here?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zeph has a journal from the Grand Line.
Yeah.
That's true.
And offers it a Luffy, and Luffy turns around and goes, "Yeah, no, I don't need it, thanks, I found my
Thank you very much, Seven, for the host there. Really appreciate it. Excellent. But yeah.
That's a good point. I keep on forgetting, like, it's hard to remember, like, think that, like, we're in the Barati arc, but obviously this is before, well, they're there, but just beforehand, sort of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, hands down, I said up to this point, this was my favourite arc, and when they remastered it and they did it all, re-graphics and revoiced it and everything, I loved the remake of it. They didn't do anything bad. They made it even better.
I really liked the fight with Don Krieg as well.
And that's what we're going to go on to next. Don Krieg.
Moving right on to.
Thank you for supporting
Because I
Goku
honestly don't think he's that powerful.
Thank you very much, Ferry, for the follow as well. Really appreciate it.
It's Sorry, go on, Sam.
No, I was just saying thank you in chat for the follows.
Right. With Don Krieg, I'd rate him the same as Kuro.
Yeah.
But it's yet again the only reason he done anything was because he had all the armor and the weapons.
Yeah. A massive ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this
he had a fleet, didn't he? He was.
Yeah.
You know, but Mihawk crushed them all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a weird thing, like, because when you think about it, like, I think you mentioned another anime, Sam. Like, I'm so weak. I put all my points in defense.
Buffery. Yeah.
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 And that's kind of like what Don Krieg is. He's just sort of like, I'm all defense. Like I'm survivability. Like I do have.
Hit me as much as you can. My armor's big.
I still think he's above Kuro on that because yes, he is all about his armor and his equipment and everything else, but he has got that experienced combat style and he's got that. He's gone to the Grand Line. He was called the strongest in East Blue, wasn't he? If I remember correctly. So it just to
again,
me
it was all for me. It was all because he had. Luffy said it the best when they were like, "Oh, we're Don Krieg, we're the strongest crew," and he went, "Don't you mean the one with the most people?"
Yeah.
Exactly, and this is the point where I like when Luffy said he only wants a small crew of X amount of people, and he's got that. Like obviously he's getting that. He's just proven that he wants quality over quantity, because let's look at the Marine base going back to Captain Morgan Spice over here. You know, Zoro took out the entire Marines by himself. You know what I mean? While Luffy took out Captain Morgan Spice. There was no competition there, and then Kobe sat there like, oh, like just completely just be like, oh, like I can't do anything.
When even on Barity when the fight first started, and like all of like Don Krieg's men are running forward, and like Luffy's like, oh, EDI, just flies in and knocks out 10 of them flying at once, and everybody's exactly. He's all right, that kid, isn't he?
But I tell you what, Zeph's words on Luffy, I think, were the best part of it. Like when he turns around,
that guy's one spear.
He's like, when you find someone with that much determination, never make them your enemy, and it just proves that, like, you know, that dream, that determination will make him go places because he'll push himself to the limit and beyond just to get to where he wants. And Luffy,
dude, while we're on this arc, put Fire Pearl in civilian because he's a prick.
What under? Who are we putting there, sorry?
Pearl, you know, of Don Krieg's crew.
I can't add another image in, I don't think.
No, I was just joking, by the way. I just wanted to...
Which one's Pearl? I can't remember Pearl.
He was the one that, like, oh, nobody's ever damaged me, and then Luffy
at
him from behind and knocked his nose on his own.
He's like, boom, see you later.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if Hawkeye heard that, he'd be like, so no one's ever been able to damage you? Let me just get you with my pinky fucking blade. Boom, dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've already put I put him in Marines. Would you say that, or would you say he's Shibakai level strength? Because I'd say he's a little bit taller, but yeah.
I wouldn't rate him above them in terms of strength, honestly, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And one reason why as well is because if you do that, it's pretty much going to be every time we introduce somebody new, they're a little bit stronger than the last one, so they're going to be above them.
And we'll have like a massive list.
By the time we get a, like, say...
Smoker.
Smoker, you'd be in Pirate King and be like, oh well, there we go, there's the problem. Yeah.
No, I actually agree with that.
These are all the villains that you see as fight scenes, by the way, Sarah. And we're talking just generally about the arcs, and then we're going to talk about, like I said, where we'd rate the arc in terms of place and where we'd rate the actual fight scenes and the characters we see.
Yeah.
So.
But no, I agree where he is. Like, just like, yeah, he's powerful. He's got all of this equipment and stuff like that. But same thing again with like Kuro. He had like Kuro, and he had techniques. He had smarts. He had like his own strength. But he just didn't really
shine.
Yeah. He just saw
in terms of physicality, Krieg only pushed Luffy as far as Kuro did. The only difference he had was Don Krieg dragged Luffy in the sea.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the only difference I think personally in terms of damage Luffy took in that fight. The only difference was he went in the sea.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And I just keep seeing Foxy's face. That smile is just in the middle of my screen. I just keep seeing it, and every time I turn my head like that, I just see it. It's just there.
Foxy.
We're going to get to him eventually.
But look at that grin. Look, I know.
Do with him.
Yes, I know what we're going to do with him. We need to make another ranking for him above
Pirate
King.
Pirate King.
We need to have Afro Pirate King next.
Yeah, mate. Afro Luffy, top of the list.
Yeah. Afro.
That's what he needs to beat Kaido and Afro.
They are bad guys. I mean, they are crap. But because they no, these what these are is like when you're playing like Fairy Tail, you know, Natsu's like the crew. And then obviously the other Fairy Tail guilds and the other people he's fighting. Those are who we're up against, basically, Sarah. So yeah, that's who we're talking about. Like people who are other pirates or other marines or other people who are in the universe that the main crew's fighting. In each of these arcs that we're going through. But on that note, because I know what arc's going to come on next, and that's going to leave a little bit of a talk, I am just going to go to the bathroom quickly and take a 5-minute break. If you guys want to just run over any other characters or anything else you want to talk about over these arcs.
What we've talked about initially.
Other than that, who do you think out of these bottom, Shibakai and Law, do you think is the strongest or would win the fight if you put him in a Royal Rumble?
Krieg.
Yeah.
Oh, if it's over the top rope, I mean, that's different, isn't it? Both feet have got to touch the floor.
Yeah. Oh, of course, yeah.
It's ironic you said that. It's Royal Rumble next Sunday.
Yeah. If we're talking actually as a Royal Rumble, you've got to go for Boogie, haven't you?
Yeah. But then again, if Don Krieg applies the same principle that he did to Luffy, just throw him in the water because he's got a devil fruit.
Yeah.
I don't think Boogie has enough physical strength to deal any damage to Krieg.
That's true. Like, all that Boogie has is his equipment. Like,
yes,
he has the ability to split, but as soon as Krieg gets hold of anything, like, all he has to do is get hold of one piece of Boogie and put him in the water, and that's it. He's done for.
Yeah. And I'm back, sorry about
that. I would vote Don Krieg. Taking Mihawk out of the equation, I would say Don, at this point, it would make sense that way as well, the way it builds.
And to be honest, the fight's great and all, but Don Krieg knows how to beat Delfruit. He knows the weakness. He knows. Yeah. He has a weapon to take out Luffy.
Experience, isn't it?
Exactly. He has a weapon to take out Boogie, which is the main threat out of all of them.
That poison gas as well.
Exactly. Yes, by all means, Sarah.
You can tell me what it was called, Sam.
Poison gas.
I swear to God, you don't stop copping out, I'm going to throw you under a bus, mate.
I mean, you put us on the spot where I'm getting talking. So just going back to what Sarah was saying, yes, really should watch it. It's really worth the watch and the investment in time.
100% is, yeah.
And what there is, just because Sarah hasn't seen it, there's a thing called devil fruits. And devil fruits in the series give them powers, basically.
This is a wormhole when you start explaining it to somebody, isn't it?
Yeah. So
Go.
So devil fruits are basically certain fruit in the world that only one person, there's one of each, like Creed. So like the main character Luffy's got the power of rubber, so you can use, his body turns into rubber. As on this list that you can see, there's only one other person who's got a power. Please say they are Sky Pirates. There is Sky Pirates. There is one on this list, which we'll be going into as well.
Sky Pirates, unbelievable.
But yeah, basically the weakness is, if a devil fruit uses, the weakness is sea prism. Is it sea prism, isn't it? Also known as salt water.
The sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, seawater.
Seawater, sea prism, items made out of that. They're weak to that, basically. So they'll lose their power or lose their strength because of it. Hence why when we were saying Don Krieg dropped Luffy in the water, Luffy then would have lost that fight had he not had help from someone.
Yeah.
Getting him out of the water. So yeah, general premise, we can't really go into much without giving like loads of spoilers out on that, but I'm pretty sure we've gone past that territory anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, there is.
Yeah, if you've never watched the anime before, you're definitely going to get a spoiler from listening and watching us talk about a One Piece podcast.
Absolutely.
Like, look up there, like that's a spoiler.
I mean, this technically is a spoiler, because obviously we don't see this yet until. Actually, no, we do see this at this stage anyway with Don Krieg.
Oh yeah, you see that. I mean, it's prominent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
as this.
Just thinking. Next, it's Arlong, isn't it? We've got Arlong. Yeah.
Yes.
So, who wants to start on Arlong? Where we're going to go on with this one?
I love Arlong.
Yes.
He is a great bad guy. He's the
Yeah.
first one in all this where you really do go, this is a bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aye.
And this is an evil guy.
It's the first one where you look at it and think,
Mm-hmm.
what's he got to do to win now? Like, he puts up a fight.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, he makes you work for it.
He does.
And same with his crew as well.
Yeah.
And not just Arlong, but all of his crew. You look and go, wow, these are these are tough.
If anyone said to you,
they're the first strong pirate crew he comes up against.
Exactly.
Compare Arlong's crew to Buggy's crew. You've got Moji, Kabaji, and I guess you could count Richie the Lion.
Yeah.
Right. And they all got crushed.
Yeah. Yes. Just on for chat. Sorry. Yes. When Luffy draws the actual pirate attack crew, that's freaking brilliant. So not all of them are Sky Pirates. Their weakness is water, so if the ship sinks, they're fucked. Only people with devil fruits, normal people like normal crew members who don't have a devil fruit, they're fine in the water. It's just if I have a devil fruit and I end up touching water, I'd lose my strength. I would end up drowning to death because I can't move. But if someone then came to save us,
Swim.
basically you turn into a rock and you just sat there like, oh god, I'm drowning, and you can't do anything. Hence why, yes, if you sink a ship, it's game over. Hence why a lot of this is a lot of land fights, shall we say. There's very few. Actually, there's very few. Speaking of it, ship fights, is there? That you think of it?
I think we're going to see more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now that we've got...
Proper, everything else leads, it's just island based, but Don Krieg is your first one that introduces the risk.
There is other things like obviously Garp
that is technically Don Krieg's is on a ship.
Yeah.
The Barrety is a ship.
Yeah.
That's the first fight that's actually on. And yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, there's not a lot of fights actually on ships.
I mean, the main one is Garp is the first one, I think, of when we talk about like ship fighting, when Garp's throwing things at them. Yeah. When pirates eat eat the fruit, do not thought that through. Yeah, so sometimes, like, well, Luffy didn't know he was eating a devil fruit. He was just hungry.
He was a kid and he just seen something on the bar. I was like, oh, mint food.
Yeah. Whereas, like, there's other fruits, there's other people with devil fruits in the world, and they do give him powers. I mean, Luffy's got the power to stretch his body, which gives him more power to hit people with and do more damage. Obviously, there's all sorts of fruits out there that give different powers and different strength. So there's like, should we explain?
Well, you're on this description, Sam. I'm just going to pull you and run to the bathroom real quick.
Nice. But yeah, just to give it a brief description, there's 3 types of devil fruits. There's paramecium, which is what Luffy is, which changes the body physically or gives him a physical power. I'm trying to think of a good example without paramecium. Think like Luffy. Luffy gets the power to stretch. He can then turn into a rubber man. Bullets don't hurt him because they bounce into him and then bounce out. That's the power he gets basically. He's still weak to blades. So if he gets hit by a blade, he'll cut and he'll bleed. And obviously he has a tolerance limit.
I mean, he is coming up later, so obviously it is a little spoiler now, but you got Bellamy as well.
Bellamy, yeah. So we'll talk about... Right, gotta go. Kids need to do grid stream. You too, Sarah. Thank you very much for popping in, and hopefully see you again. But yeah, like I said, Fairy, I don't know how far are you up to with One Piece, since you're in chat with us as well, while we're waiting for Taz to come back. Are you up to date with us, manga, anime wise? Excellent. So we can't give you any spoilers. That's good to know. We're not talking anything 1.0 anyway, because, like I said, there's a lot of people who haven't got up to 1.0 yet, or are doing what I'm doing. I'm reading the manga, but I don't watch the anime until 1.0's finished. I'm going to enjoy the entire thing through, and I can't wait for
arc by arc. Yeah.
Because
hello, Papa.
Yeah. Roger's come to say hello.
Hello, Roger.
You know what's amazing? He's called Roger and he's gold.
Oh my god. Oh god.
Oh, the Pirate King.
But yeah. I think if you ask anyone here, by the way, if you ask someone to name some of their favourite moments in One Piece, I bet you one of them would be Arlong's walk from the crew. From the moment they put the hat down to the moment they walk to that door.
It's a great moment, isn't it? It shows the solidarity of the crew, and it shows.
Exactly. And
guys, I'll be 5 minutes.
Like, it's one of those things that you're not focused around the anime. Like, you're not focused around, like, all the other arcs have been focused around Luffy being the Pirate King, Luffy this, building his crew up, and then you've had a bit like the last 2 arcs, this arc and the arc before, has shown.
This is fantastically strong, though. I think Arlong Park, Kokoyashi Village, isn't it? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, like I said, it just shows like it's not all going to be about Luffy. Yes, it's going to be a majority of his story, but his other crews have dreams. They have the other characters, the fleshed out characters, and that's thing. I think that's
every single one of them's got something, haven't they?
They've got everything to prove and what they want to do.
And even points when you think you know all there is to know, you don't.
Exactly. And to be honest, if we're going by ranking the arc, I would put this in Admiral, if not Yonko.
I was going to say Yonko for me. Arlong Park.
Because
awesome.
It is a fight. It
Obviously,
is a struggle.
We wait until Anis gets back to get his opinion on it before we actually rank it. But that's where I would put Arlong as a baddie. I would put him on Admiral. In terms of.
Again, I'd say the same.
He would crush everybody who's come before him.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, not Hawkeye.
Yeah, not Hawkeye. No, yeah, not maybe, not Hawkeye.
Not maybe. Yeah. But absolutely.
That's what I would. That's my opinion. Arc, Yonko, and Arlong as a villain, Admiral. That's how I would rank it.
Exactly. Well, we'll ask. What we'll do is when Anis comes back, we'll turn around and say, Anis, so what's your right? We're going to give you the choice. We're going to give you the power of the torch. Where are we putting Arlong? And see what he chooses because we've already spoke our piece.
Are you in agreement with me on that? Like?
Yeah, because again, like I said, in terms of the arc, I'd say definitely Yonko. In terms of the villain, I would say in terms of Admiral because he is, like I said, he's not on Hawkeye's level, but he's not on anyone else's level. He's on his own, like between
above the rest by a way.
Yeah. Welcome back, Anis. So we're giving you the torch here.
Needed to wait.
We're giving you the torch here, Anis. So where are we ranking the arc first of all? Where would you
Arlong?
For Arlong, yeah.
I would put him at Admiral.
Admiral. Ooh, yeah. We both.
Arlong or the arc?
The arc.
Ooh. Yeah, I'd have to put him as maybe even Yonko for the arc.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much development in that arc. Like, so much goes on.
Yeah. In terms of the arc, I would definitely put it on Yonko level because
I also ranked it as Yonko, and then you've come back and ranked it as Yonko as well. So I think that's unanimous.
Yeah. Because in terms of the arc, it is something special. There's all those little fights. You know, it does show the crew in total.
So deep.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the first sort of emotional part of the anime as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you learn like Nami's Nami's backstory.
Fleshes out the character.
Yeah, it fleshes out her character. People come in. It shows Luffy properly taking on his role as captain.
Mm-hmm. Putting the hat on his head. Just that scene there, putting the hat on the head. You know, that.
Sam, I've got a question you can't cop out on.
Okay, I'll figure away.
What was the? Can you remember what Nami's adoptive mother was called, and her sister?
No, I know. I believe it begins with Y. Is it Y for her sister? Beginning with Y, is it?
No, not even close.
Mm-hmm.
But it was W.
Her sister was called Nojiko.
That. Yeah.
And her mother was called Bellamia.
Bellamia.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Bellamy, are we? But yeah, in terms of
Bellamy's wife.
See how quick he sprang into action then.
The puns are coming in. Oh, I can't bounce back from that, can I? But yeah, in terms of arc, definitely going to have to put it on a Yonko level because it is something special. It shows how in depth these characters are being fleshed out. You know, even Don Krieg's arc with Zoro. You know, I would grab that at Admiral in terms of arc because you get to meet Sanji, you get to meet the dreams, you get to see him fail.
I would rank that one Admiral as well because it's Mihawk in there as well. It's all part of the same arc, and
then it's like the whole point of Zoro then turn around saying he's not going to lose, and then the fight with Zoro. I think is one of my favorite things is that yes, it wasn't as an impressive fight, but the condition he's in, he's still able to fight for his crew. He still wants to be on the front lines, and not only that. He does get better. Like, if he was in his normal position, I don't think he would be as bad. He would probably take a couple of hits, but he focused on his opponent's moves and worked out how to get through his defense through those 80 sword style. And I think that just pushed him to be a bit stronger. And obviously we see that multiple times, not just in this arc. But where are we putting Arlong as a villain then? Where are we dropping him? Because we've both said our piece on this when you went to let Goldie Rogers out. So, where would you think you want to put him? Pressure's on, Anis. Pressure's on.
I know, Admiral. Yeah, I can't put him up. He can't be up to Mihawk standards. He can't. Well, yeah, I'd put him as Admiral.
Pretty much where we said, like he's a step above the rest.
Yeah, he is because he would beat everybody before him, bar Mihawk.
Yeah. Chan's the best of his crew.
Yeah, Hatchet's the best of Arlong's crew.
He's the octopus.
Yeah, Hatchin.
Yeah. That's why it's called Hachi,
because
Hachi is Japanese for 8.
These guys are the actual like knowers of One Piece. I do know One Piece, but very, very sporadically.
Sparsely.
Yeah.
Aye.
I have watched it up to like 600, the anime, but I am fully up to date with the manga. But my knowledge doesn't stay in here.
He's a manga and anime difference for you, for Barity. In the anime, you know how Zeph loses his leg?
In the anime, he puts the anchor around it and pulls it off.
Yeah. Whereas in the manga, he eats his own leg on the island.
Because there's 4 kids for you. Couldn't show that.
It wasn't 4 kids. I think that was just a decision. Like, we can't really have... Like, this is going to be on Cartoon Network. We can't... Yeah, we can't...
Yeah.
We can't really have somebody eating their own leg. You know.
It's like the old school horror scenes, isn't it? Where it's like you'd see him like grab a knife and then he'd look at his leg and then he'd look away and you'd see the knife come down. But then it's like, how do you stop him? Like, how would you show him eating a leg without showing him eating a leg?
Yeah. You'd show his leg and then you'd show no leg.
You know what?
Like that.
You know, with him...
Just a little dribble of blood.
You know what? I'm actually...
Using his femur as a toothpick. Like...
You know, the first thing I thought of is when he said this, because I know he's a chef, if him doing like kind of a spit roast with his foot and then just grabbing his big toe like this and just doing this with his big toe. He's like, just doing this as the thing. We're like, yep. Oh.
It's a leg of lamb before, so it can't be too different.
Aye. Oh, there we go. It's nice and pink. Oh.
Here you go, Sanji. You can have the tour.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think Arlong's definitely on another level than everyone else we've seen. 100%. Other than we're not going to put Mihawk in there because, but like I said, even things like Usopp's fight. Usopp was so point, and then just the breakdown from Nami just hating herself and stabbing her arm and trying to get rid of it. Yeah. And then the fact that there's already been a scene when Luffy's already told him that no one touches the hat, it's that important to him, to where he puts it on her head.
Yeah. Yeah, and says, look after this for me and I'll look after you.
Exactly. Yeah. It just shows...
it's the first time Usopp, grows up hair as well.
Yeah. And Luke...
I was trying to think what Usopp does in that arc. But obviously he goes up against one of his crew, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chew, he's called the water spitter Gachi.
Yeah. Yeah. And he does beat him. He fucked him up really well. And we see like bits of Usopp's fighting style because
What's up, Hammer? What's up, my
because I think, like I said, we've already discussed this before, but again, Usopp is one of the most underrated characters of the crew, I think, because he has so much potential. And I think even though he's not probably the strongest physically, he uses what he can do as an advantage. Like I said, when
he's kind of like what we were saying about Don Krieg and Kuro. It's using what you've got to the best of your ability.
Yeah, and he's very good at thinking on the fly.
Yeah,
exactly,
and coming up with things.
All them years as a bullshitter.
Yeah.
No, that's his future sight hacky. Let's not go into that. But yeah.
Cheap.
Go on then. Since this is all of Arc 1, pretty much where we're at now. Where would you rate the 2 arcs? Would you? Because I think definitely Arlong's the best. 100% Arlong's the best. But I'd say it's close with Don Krieg's because.
No, I don't think it is. I think it's the best by a ways.
It's one of those things because Don Krieg's arc gives us a lot of insight to what Zoro's aspiration is. Luke, Sanji's giving Sanji's motivation, seeing what Nami just has to abandon the crew just because she wants to save her village. Yeah. It does give a lot to it.
Again, all of that though, why Nami's abandoned the crew. You don't know why until Arlong's arc.
True.
All you know so far about her is she's a thief and she's gone off with the ship. You just think, oh shit, she's nicked the ship.
But yeah, definitely the 2 best arcs.
For me, that was Arlong's arc was the one that actually got me
invested,
fully invested in it. I was already saying, hey, I'm going to watch this, I'm going to enjoy it. but I think Arlong's arc was the one that made me like, yeah, this is my anime. This is my favorite anime now.
Yeah.
I'm done with
the
you.
arc
This is
where you
it.
turn around and go, if this is on if like say this was on Netflix now, and you're a new person, it would be like I'd watch it and be like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. But then Arlong would go, I'm binging this.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Arlong was the one that made me like sit and just watch it for a month till I caught up.
Yeah. Still seeing Foxy's face, just the grin. It's just the grin. It's like at my eye level. Because like,
What do you call him? Splitted.
no, I said Foxy.
Yeah,
It's still-
I love he calls him Splitted though. Doesn't
Yeah.
Is that what he calls him?
He's just at my eye level. So I'm just seeing this to my face. I'm like, God damn it! Why are you there? Like, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to move him. He's going down here. So he's not.
Right.
I tell you
down
what.
the way where he should be.
I tell you what. I'll put Warple there. That's even better.
Yeah,
But yeah, even thinking about it now, I think Arlong would give a lot of run for the money for a few of them pre-time skip that we'd see. Obviously not the Shibukai themselves, but a lot of the villains he sees, he would probably give them a good run for the money.
Agreed.
CP9 excluded. You're looking at Bellamy. You're looking at Crocodile. I'd say no, because again Shibukai, but it's like the crew he'd veer against. Yeah, probably have a good go at him. Smoker.
You know what? I think though Arlong v Crocodile would also be very interesting because of the moves Arlong uses.
yeah.
Again with his shark darts. Remember
Yeah.
when Luffy turns up on the roof at Arabasta Palace and he spits the water at Crocodile, and Crocodile's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
my knackers are done here." Like, Arlong could do very much the same.
But I think the advantage is I think they would do damage, the water darts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's even more powerful.
It's like it's this never ending cycle that Arlong's throwing water at him and then Crocodile's trying to dehydrate him.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we gonna have?
That would be the thing, wouldn't it? It's like that, as I say, like you'd have to. It's that whole sort of like Crocodile's whole thing is like sand, desert, like
Dry fish.
and dry fish, and then Arlong's like if Arlong somehow was there, like you'd have to spend most of his time in the fountain, just near the fountains, just sort of like help, little help.
Just like on land, just being a fish out of water like this on the fish, just like, oh, help me. What do you want? A glass of water. But yeah, it would be an interesting fight, I think. How are you guys feeling? Do you want to continue with the next part, or do you want to kind of break it up here for a little
What other
bit?
topics have we got on before we ramble on for like 4 days?
Give me 2 moments. I'm going to swap screens.
I've got them up here.
Excellent.
We've got Zoro's Azura power.
Ashura.
We've got Black Ashura power. We've got Blackbeard's power. We've got Does Dragon have a devil fruit? What happened to Sabo? Our favourite backstories, and
I think what happened to Sabo should be a later talk.
Yeah, because we've not got into that section yet, shall we say?
yeah, favourite
Same as-
backstories. Shanks
Same as
arc-
backstory. Sorry, backstory. I think should be another one
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
we put on the back burner. If we're going to do this arc by arc,
Yeah.
wait until we've introduced all the crew as the arc by arc, and then talk about the backstory. Which one we think?
I have to wait until Hallkirk then.
yeah. We have Shanks arc theory.
And favourite fight
Obviously-
scenes.
Yeah, and we have our favourite fight scene, which we could go into for this lot.
I mean,
How long have we been going for now?
an hour and a half.
5 to 7.
So do about another half hour.
Do another half now, yeah?
Agree with that.
Do you want to continue with the ranking then, or should we go over favourite fight scenes that we've gone through?
We'll get to just before Grand Line, so end at Logtown.
Yeah.
That's
So
next, isn't it?
that's... No, because we've got Chopper's arc.
Yeah, but that's in the Grand Line.
Yeah.
Chopper's in the Grand Line.
Sam.
So yeah.
So we can't do Chopper's arc before Logtown because Logtown is before Chopper's
Yeah.
arc.
So where do you want to go? Do you want
So
to go
what
on?
I'm saying is we do everything up on just before they cross the red line, just before Reverse Mountain.
Before Reverse Mountain.
Bear me 2 moments while I get up the list, because this is further than I was going for. Let's have a look here.
Because that only gives us... There's only 2 more arcs to do then.
Yeah, so what have we got next then?
Is it Logtown next? And then after Logtown, it's... It was a filler arc, wasn't it? And it was Admiral Nelson with Eric the Weasel.
Let's have a look here, yeah.
Oh, we bypassed him.
Oh, we got Smoker in Logtown, though.
Yeah.
So we got Smoker in Logtown, and then we bypassed Nelson.
We can do Alvida Mark II.
Alvida Mark II, yeah. Let's go through.
Is
and
Alvida
Boogie
Mark
Mark.
I in civilian?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Oh no, she's not in
Yeah,
civilian.
she
She's
is.
in Marine.
Oh, she's a Marine.
No, right, yeah, no, right. She's
Popping it down. Yeah. But yeah, we'll pop it down to civilian because this makes sense. So, yeah, we've got now Smoker. We've got now Boogie Mark II, which let's just say like Boogie doesn't do anything.
Just
Nothing.
Boogie still, he doesn't change.
He's just himself.
Yeah,
Nice
nothing's
comic
changed about Boogie.
Mhm.
The only thing that's changed about
Hey Mano, how are you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
We've got Mano joining, Straw Hat Mano joining us in the chat.
Hi-oh.
How are we doing? Just because you haven't been here for full thing, we've got Anis who's below me, and then we've got Tass at the bottom. We've just gone through pretty much Arc 1, talked about where we're lining up the villains in terms of Arc, and we're also talking about where we'd actually rank the arcs as well, but we haven't got the arcs on screen. Good morning then to you. I remember you're from Australia, so it's probably about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock your time, is it? I think. Am I right? Anyone?
I have no idea, mate.
Bueller?
Maybe.
Nearly 6 o'clock. Hey, there we go. I was right.
Early
So yeah,
start.
so on to Logtown anyway then. Sorry, we're on to we've got Boogie Mark II, Alvida Mark II, Skinny Alvida.
Boogie doesn't change. Boogie's
Nah.
just Boogie.
Boogie doesn't,
Okay.
but there is a lot of development that we do get from here, which I absolutely love. Is obviously Luffy smiling, not regretting anything, getting hit by lightning, being like, "Oh, that was lucky." To which I guess Mano, are you up to date with the anime and everything as well? Just to check, because obviously spoilers territory might be in place for you. Obviously there's certain things that you see in the background, like Panda Man. There's so many small little details in there. You're muted.
Yeah, there's that little chat Luffy has with the guy in the bar, isn't there?
Exactly. There's those small little details where you see all these little things happening, and you do see the guy. This guy. Just
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew. You do see him apparently in the audience. It's just a background character, and you don't think anything of it, and it's just that much detail, which is always amazing.
Well, you also get that Usopp with Daddy the Father
Yeah,
thing as well. I think that's in Logtown, if I'm correct.
it
And
is.
that's when he shoots the slingshot through the whale with a crown.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. That was like amazing. It just shows how good he is. Like again, going back to.
I can't remember if that bit was in the manga or not.
I don't remember it, to be honest with you, in the manga, but it just shows how good of a skilled shot he is. I mean, with the cannon as well. Like he's like, I'm gonna hit the island.
I still think if we're going to rank it, I wouldn't rank it as high as Arlong's arc.
Nah, definitely not higher than Arlong.
Do you know, the thing is as well, this is what I realised. I thought I didn't like Skypiea too much till I watched it again.
Mm-hmm.
And it was purely because you've come out with such a strong arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you watch it as an individual arc at a later stage, and you watch different things, like different arcs back again, you do appreciate it more, and you do see a lot more detail, and you just go through and you just go, wow, just like that. Like Logtown's one of them. There's so many small little details and intricate moments in it, and you obviously the main thing you think of is Ace, Smoker. You know what I mean? That's the first thing you think of when you think of Logtown. And just the whole fight between those, but you forget Dragon's there as well. Dragon, you know what I mean?
It's Dragon's introduction.
Like that's the thing that casts everyone, which I think we should end on Dragon as well about a theory of fruit, which we were talking about later on.
It'd be a good segue.
But generally, I think Logtown does have a lot of information, a lot of kind of powerful impact in the story. But coming out of Arlong's arc into that is like kind of like...
What it shows as well is it shows how powerful a devil fruit can be.
Exactly, yeah.
Because you look at buggies and you look at smokers and you're like, yeah, damn.
Yeah, he's way above.
And what was the chain person? Or what was she called? The one who can just basically do that and clap and basically catch everyone. Hina, that's it. Her devil fruit, just it being able to restrain an army by herself, just by putting up chains and restraints for her.
Yeah, and that's just a paramecia.
Exactly, and there's just all of this power that you get into it. But it's just coming out the back of Arlong. I think that knocks it a peg. I mean, it's not as powerful as Arlong's arc.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's not. It doesn't have the same impact as Arlong's arc. It's still good. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. It's still really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's really really difficult. I mean, it's just like because if you think about it, you've got Arlong's arc, and then after Arlong you have Logtown, and you're like, oh my god, Arlong's arc was awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Logtown's kind of like...
It's catching your breath, isn't it?
Awesome.
Yeah, I think of it as if you think of you doing a sprint and doing a jog. You sprint into there and it's just like, you're just there and it's just being happened. You're like, oh my god, that's just the hype and the energy.
That to me is what makes One Piece so great. Mm-hmm. It's longevity. It's all constant.
Exactly. And
it doesn't rely too much on shock factor or, things like that. It just relies on good, solid story building.
Absolutely.
Every arc adds something else to it.
Exactly.
Except Foxy.
Exactly. Oh god, we can't wait to get to Foxy's arc. I think when we can.
No, just to get it out of the way. I'm going to rag on it every opportunity I get.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
Logtown introduces us to Smoker. Is it just Smoker?
Smoker. We get Alvida in.
Tashigi's there.
Mm-hmm.
She's not really important.
No.
I know that sound made me sound like she was trash. But...
Well, there was all. Did you guys, when you spoiler alert for it? Like, I think I'll have to put a spoiler alert on maybe. But did you guys always look at Tashigi when she was first introduced? Obviously, Zoro is her main target.
Yeah.
Was there any point of looking for? Is that the childhood friend?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, I didn't connect the dots until Zoro connected them for us.
Yeah, she looks quite a lot like it.
Like, yeah, because she looks like it. I didn't ever think it was, because he had a funeral and her dad buried her.
Yeah. I mean,
so I didn't ever think it was her reincarnated or anything.
Uh-uh.
Or anything like that, but I did, like, when he mentioned the resemblance, I was like, oh yeah, actually, yeah.
I mean, it'd just be a mindfuck if she had like the same thing as Sabo, just amnesia, and like she came back.
Yeah.
Imagine that, and then just learnt a real fighting style and was like, bang. Yeah, literally in the chat at the same time. Yes, Kate, I agree with you. It'd be a good catch off because we never considered it. And then all of a sudden she comes out of nowhere and it'd happen. It'd just be a bit of the shock factor, but I don't think Oda would ever do that because, let's be honest.
No, he said in a interview as well, like, he doesn't want to bring characters back from the dead that are dead. He said even when he was a kid watching anime and stuff, or any animes he read, any mangas he read, or anything like that, he didn't like when they brought them back after they died.
Brooke.
Otherwise, what's the point in killing them?
Brooke.
That was the subtle hint, Goku.
Sabo.
What's the point in killing them if you're going to bring them back?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And especially when it's done multiple times, it makes the death meaningless.
Yeah, absolutely. I get that. Absolutely.
You know, like say for example, if Ace came back now,
mm-hmm.
it'd make all the arc pointless.
Exactly.
Can I just very, very quickly bring up a point actually? Because in the anime, obviously, we know there are certain ones where it's like, yes, that character is dead. But when he's fighting like all of the bosses that we've had so far, none of them have technically died, have they?
No.
So there is the possibility that Arlong could come back.
I actually think Arlong was killed, but by somebody else.
Yeah. Like, the thing is, the most likely place he would have went to would have been Impel Down.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we haven't seen
he definitely got Arlong. We know. Well, I would assume got captured by the police, by the Marines. The police, dickhead.
Get him out.
He had control of an island, and Luffy beat him, and the island was free. All of a sudden, even now, I think he was called Nezumi, the Marine that was dealing with Arlong to begin with. He, after Luffy had beat him, turned up and said, "Oh, I'm going to arrest him and all his treasure's mine."
Yeah.
So I think he got arrested. But I don't know if he died or not. Luffy hasn't personally killed anybody yet.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if he has.
I don't think Zoro has either.
Yeah, he probably has. He's probably killed a few people before joining the crew when he was a bounty hunter.
Yeah, but I think as crew members, when you see the main fights, I don't think any of them die. Because even Daz Bones, Mr. One, he chopped him, and we know he's alive.
I see your point, and I'll race you in the future, Blackbeard. Akainu. Definitely two characters I think Luffy would cross the line on.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking at the list here of people now. I don't think I know anyone that has died. But going back to these characters, yes, Savity and Wano, brilliant arcs as well for you as well, Katie. Smoker, where do you think you'd rank Smoker on this list individually? Logtown, I would say, is probably Shibukai because it's not amazing. If you went back and watched it.
Oh, as an arc?
Yeah, as an arc.
Yeah, as an arc, yeah, Shichibukai. Yeah, I thought you were about Smoker.
No, Smoker's definitely a Shichibukai. I mean, thinking about it, I would say Admiral. Because...
Yeah, I would.
Because
I'd put him up there.
I don't think he's as powerful or as impactful as Arlong, but is in terms of a consistent villain and consistently Luffy's not been able to deal with all the way through until time skip. That just proves how powerful
there was only one time pre-time skip that I can think of where Luffy actually used an attack that was effective on Smoker. Yeah. And it was while he was in the air and Smoker was wrapped around him and he used Balloon. And he expanded that quickly that Smoker flew off him.
I see that and I raise you when he used Rocket to get into the bar and hit both Smoker and Ace. Was it?
Yeah, that wasn't an attack on him though, was it?
Yeah, but it's still technically an attack move.
Some food.
It's still an attack move, but
the ultimate attack
but it wasn't used on him. It was used as getting the bus.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely think Admiral because he's consistently fighting Luffy, consistently putting him to death. The only reason Luffy's got out of those fights is, I mean, if you have Ace or Luffy at that time and their bounties and their pressure, who are you going to go as after as a Marine? You're going to go for the one. You're going to go for Ace without a doubt.
Yeah, but
Dragon.
If you were just a normal Marine.
Well, Smoker.
Smoker could have gone for Ace and he didn't.
And the only reason...
Get out my way, I'm here to hunt Straw Hat.
And Ace, Smoker knew that he couldn't take Ace. Which comes to a theory I always want to ask you guys. Do you think Ace knew how to use Haki?
Yeah.
Because we never really see him use haki. Obviously, we didn't at the time at Rainford, but do you think he had any like decent armament haki? Because he did get burnt.
Well, he could use Conquerors.
Mm-hmm.
So it stands to say if you can use Conqueror's haki as a kid.
Oh,
Anis has crashed.
Yeah, he's just saying he's crashed.
If he just hangs a call up and re-answers, that'll work.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can hear that.
Yeah, he won't be able to. I'll send him a message now.
But yeah, that's I forgot what we were talking about there now.
Smoker and Ace and haki.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, if you could use Conqueror's haki as a kid.
Yeah.
And he was on Whitebeard's crew.
And
we all know that Whitebeard and his crew can use haki. Almost certainly, yes, Ace could use haki.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he had that strong of a... Like, I agree with Kate on this one. I don't think he really trained his haki much.
No.
Because I think he had the...
computer.
Right, we might have to wait a few minutes for that. I think he relied too much on his fruit. And being under Whitebeard's crew, and that, I'd say, baby cotted net.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taz, do you want this?
What?
Have a look. Oh, you can't see the screen, can you? The screen's messed up.
Oh, the water.
Aye. But yeah. I'm going to swap screens back to this one. That works better. But yeah, I think generally... I just got confused while you're looking there. But I think generally...
I could hear something... No, I think Katie was going up the stairs. I could just hear something in the background.
Yeah, I think generally he had good Conqueror's haki, but in terms of armament and observation, I don't think he really bothers. Because I'm made of fire.
Yeah, I think you might be right there, mate. Yeah,
because...
I think it's a case of...
Yeah.
He's got it, but not...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's...
Yeah.
Because...
I think we should leave Ace till we get to that. Like, let's get back to ranking Logtown and whatnot.
Logtown is a rank, it's a Shibukai, because you do meet some...
Shichibukai on the Ark, yeah.
Because the Ark itself, let's have a look. We know, Anis, we're waiting for you, buddy. In general, like I said, you see a lot of things going back to it. You've got Smoker, you've got Ace, you've got Dragon, main characters. You see the bar that Roger used to drink at. You see that representation where it's like a shadow image of him. You see the execution platform that Luffy sits at and nearly has the exact same fate until fate saves him, which we'll go on to a bit more because that's another thing I want to discuss anyway with people. Just to see if you think that was fate or if you think that was some card engage you. You see where we go?
I think it was external forces.
Hey, we have an Anis that's returned.
That was weird. He put me straight back in.
Yeah, that's what Disc does if you were logged in and it did crashed.
Ah, okay.
A wild Anis appears.
But yeah, you do get a lot of impact, in my opinion, and you do get a lot in the anime, like in the manga. You get a lot of information, but with...
Holy crashed.
I think the best way to describe it is food coma. Like, you have that massive meal from Arlong's Ark, and you have that massive kind of awesomeness, and then you just have that food coma afterwards, and you're like, I need this to digest, and some things just go over your head, which is a shame, but it just brings into how awesome the entire thing is.
Yeah.
In terms of Smoker, definitely up in Admiral, where he belongs, because
agreed.
If you're looking at all of those people below him, the only person I think could put a fight would be Arlong. And
that again is only down to the fact that he's a fisherman and he would have water on his side.
But the thing is, if Smoker gets a hold of him, that's the end of it. You know what I mean? Smoker gets him and restrains him with his smoke.
As far as we're aware, Arlong doesn't know haki.
Can you guys hear, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear you, buddy. Your image is not popping up.
Yeah, I don't know why. But that was weird. It was literally just happily talking away, and then my computer just froze.
He does in time
It
skip.
It was Doug Roger.
It was Doug Roger. No, he's happily
Yeah.
upstairs sleeping. Unless he uses hacky on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Conqueror's hacky on your computer.
Yeah, he farted in his sleep and he got scared.
Alright. You might want to try reloading disk, like disconnecting, closing it, and then reopening it, and then reconnecting manually.
Right, 2 seconds, guys.
I'll switch the screens back for this. But yeah, I think, like you said, there is a lot of things. But yeah, in the pre-time skip, he has the C prism weapon.
It's just the end of it, the tip of his jit. That's what it's called. It's just the tip of it. It's got Karaseki in because he couldn't have it completely because otherwise.
Aye. So he has the tip of his blade as C prism. That's how he basically dealt with people in the past.
Yeah.
Still love the picture of
Devil
Edward.
Fruit users.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he'd done the same to Luffy, didn't he? Straight in his throat and pinned him to the ground.
Exactly. We have an Anis. Has he returned? Is he alive? But really, to be honest, I think that's the only real of importance in that arc. In terms of fight and villains, because...
Yeah. I mean, we'll look at wrapping it up soon if you don't mind.
Yeah, no worries. Like I said, when we get back to this...
I just don't think we should go on too long, because...
Well, what we'll do is finish up this theory. We'll then talk about Dragon like we said we were going to do. And
while we're on topic, yeah.
Yeah, and we'll end it there. What I'm going to do at the same time is I'm going to go find someone who's streaming One Piece at the moment and fling them over a little bit of a raid over. Because... Hello.
Hello again. Looks like my webcam for some reason is at fault here. So I can happily talk, but you won't be able to see me, which for a lot of people is a good thing.
But yeah, like I said, we will finish. What do you think anyway, Anis, in terms of where we're at? Would you say Logtown?
Logtown, yeah, that's a great place to finish. Like, let's be fair, they're just about to set off on their next major journey. So like, I think that's a great place to stop for that.
Excellent. We'll end off with
let's talk ranking then.
So Smoker, definitely think he's an admiral. Comfortably put him in an admiral's position. How about in terms of the arc? Where would you rate the arc?
Where would I put the arc? I'd probably keep it the same. I'd probably stick it on Admiral, just because, like, as we talked about earlier, after coming from Arlong's arc, like Arlong Park, and just being like, oh my god, that was amazing, look at everything that happened. Logtown just makes you sort of go, oh, okay, so I can see why they're here, we can see what they're doing, but there's not really much going on. It's more of an informative arc than an action arc, isn't it? Yeah, like the right characters are getting introduced, and the right story is getting introduced.
Yeah, it is that exactly. Yeah, build. That's the word I was trying to look for.
Yeah.
It's building the story.
Exactly. It's building the story and it's building it up for us. But yeah, definitely think it's a good arc. Don't think it's on par as, like the Don Krieg's arc. I'd say it's on par with that one because there's a lot that happens. But like overall, when you get to Arlong, it just kind of doesn't seem as amazing. So yeah. I agree with you on that.
Did you touch up on Alvida by any chance?
We didn't talk about it.
No, not yet. We didn't talk about Alvida 2.
No, we haven't. Anyone who's
with
watching...
Alvida 2, I would put her at Marine level, a little bit above Civilian.
She's very slippery.
Still absolute trash.
Yeah. She's very slippery though. You've got to give her that.
Yeah, she just slips into Marine.
Yeah, she slips herself up into Marine.
God, awful.
Do you put her ahead of Morgan Spice now?
No.
I'd still can imagine Morgan Spice just what happens if he gets cut? She's gonna not have a blade bounce off her. Let's be honest. Or if
I don't. Yeah. If
I mean,
if blades didn't work on her, what's the point of Buggy's fruit?
Brute strength, though, like the brute strength alone would just take her out, and you could imagine just her, like, even Morgan just punching her because of her fruit. It'd come as a disadvantage. She send her flying, and she'd turn into Team Rocket, just blasting off again. That she'd just be like, just make that little ramp there, boomf, boomf, right into the sea.
Just out of curiosity as well, Sam, can you swap Smoker and Arlong around?
I can. Like that.
Because I'm just thinking, like, I like the idea. Like, I am pretty much agreeing with the ranks of that we've got everyone in vertically, but I think that I'd put
some more powerful to the right is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we rank them into the group and then
move them on to who's the most powerful.
Safe.
And I think the Admiral group is right now. I still think Arlong is better than Smoker.
Yeah. I'd debate, because it depends on how you're saying better, because if Arlong gets the first hit on them with the water, then yeah. But if Smoker grabs and restrains Arlong with his fruit, because bear in mind he can change the consistency, as we've seen. He can turn into like a big powder smoker. He can turn into very minimal.
I'll be honest. I've only got that rank in my head as a villain, as the boss.
Yeah, definitely think though Arlong's better as a villain overall.
I think what another thing is as well. It like Smoker looked really strong, but then Dragon turned up, grabbed his weapon, and then Smoker didn't look as strong.
Yeah,
and then
it kind of undermined that level of power that they put him across.
Yeah, well, ending on.
If it had turned a different way, like if Dragon had turned up and they'd had a little fight, and then Dragon had just stood in the way and Luffy went, and then you didn't see what happened. But the fact that just Dragon turned up, grabbed hold of his weapon,
and
that was the end of it.
And he didn't know how to react to him either.
Yeah, it kind of made him look weaker.
I get that.
Absolutely. While we're on the subject of Dragon, to end it on, Dragon as a devil fruit, yay or nay?
I would vote yes.
Anis?
I would say no.
Right, okay. Let's see both of your opinions. Tass?
Well, do you know what? I could see both ways why you would say yes or no. Yeah. I just think he has something to do with Storm, because every time you see him, there's storms, and and they always mention the way the winds are blowing, and it's always when he's there. It was the flashback to when Ace, Sabo, and Luffy were kids.
Yeah,
he made the pathway in the fire.
But
it could have just been Haki.
It could have been someone else on his crew, because he wasn't alone as well. That's a good point to point out with that one, because that one specifically.
But I think that point, I don't think so, because in the fire, Dragon's there and he does that and makes the way.
You do not know the way.
Looks the way and points. I don't know. This is the way.
Yes, but I agree. I think he does, but there has been proof that Conqueror's Haki can split the sky. And
you know, the clash.
Yeah. So what to say that if you burst out your Conqueror's Haki, you've seen like Luffy do it in Marineford, where he does it and it makes an air shockwave, and you can see people's hair move.
I think that's just representational, though.
But can you guarantee it is, because you see it all the time? You know what I mean? You could see, like, because now we know about it. Is it representation that the skin, like the hair's moving, the hats are moving, the clothing's having a riffle?
Yeah, but that doesn't happen with the fishmen.
True. That's what that's a good point.
It just goes a different colour and they address it as a wave, and then they all collapse.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking, is just generally it does think that there is a possibility being that. But I do think more than both that it is a fruit, because let's be honest, in the anime and the manga he does say something to Smoker about the winds blow a certain way, and then all of a sudden that gust of wind comes out of nowhere. Luffy, that's the same scene. Well, not even that. A few minutes earlier, that same thing happened, where Luffy was just about to get executed and lightning dropped down on him.
That's why I think Storm. But like I said, who knows? Like, with some of the reveals we've had, he could have I don't know,
a new power altogether. No one knows it. Like, I mean, I'll throw it out.
I just put something left field. But let's see Uranus's. Why not?
Like, yeah, I mean, the idea of him not having a devil fruit, it's just like actually listening to that argument now. It's like, yeah, I can see where he could have it, but I think it's just Haki based. I think he's just that well brained in Haki that he has the ability to do things. And it sounds daft, but I think like the lightning landing on Luffy, the storm being there, I think it's just coincidental. I don't think it's something that.
Do you know what? Yeah, good point as well. It could just be there as a coincidence to make us think he does.
Well, let me just point out a counter argument to that, though. How good is Nami with the weather?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does she mention anything about a storm coming, or knowing that there's a storm coming?
She does when they're running away, but like as they're leaving, she goes, "Oh, there's a storm coming."
Yeah.
When they've got the elephant tuna.
Yeah, but the lightning, she'd know that kind of thing would happen because that's her kind of power, shall we say? Not physically. She has that kind of power of knowing when the weather's changing or when to kind of change a ship's course because of the weather.
Yeah.
So her being on land, that doesn't negate the fact that she knows, hold on, there's going to be something happening over here. There's going to be a lightning storm or something's going to happen.
But she did mention there's going to be a storm, but... Yeah, that was before even the lightning hit Luffy, because Sanji was there when the lightning hit Luffy, and she was with Sanji when she said there's a storm, we need to get back to the ship.
That's fair. Then if that is the case, then there's a possibility then no. That or dragons.
There's still nothing to say that just because she sensed a storm doesn't mean he can't make one come. She can sense the change in air pressure.
And it could be his observation.
He can change the air pressure to make storms.
Yeah, and his observation at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense as well. On that note then, I think we should wrap this stream up and
call it a day.
Call it a day today.
Right, Luffy, I'm going
thank everybody that's joined in and
joined in chat.
Thank you all for chatting and bringing on some good points as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plug the Twitter.
Yeah, feel free to join us on Twitter. Exclamation mark podcast. It's under. It'll pops up for you.
Podcast piece.
At podcast piece. Please feel free to come join. Throw some theories our way if you have anything interesting that you think. What we can add to our list.
Hopefully, in the next week or so, maybe it's 2 weeks, we'll have these episodes up on YouTube to review at your own pleasure.
Absolutely. Curtis said something there as well. Maybe he has people from the island Nami trained his revolutionary army, which is a good theory as well.
Plausible.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I am gonna end the stream here. I've found a guy who is playing One Piece Treasure Cruise, so I'm gonna go give him a horse and shot people over. So give him some love, say hi, and we'll see you on the next stream, guys.
Ciao for now.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you and goodbye.
Will he reach his next goal? Find out on the next stream of Goku 726.
Ugh.